There are thousands of people who report paranormal sightings each year. They could be aliens, ghosts, cryptids, whatever. If you're watching this video, I'm sure you're very familiar with a few of them, such as the exorcism of Annalise Michel or the Roswell UFO incident. Both of those stories are extremely interesting to me. However, sometimes it feels like stories about aliens, demons, and ghosts could be very similar to each other. So today, rather than talking about one of those cool stories, we're going to be talking about something entirely different. The paranormal is often brushed away by the authorities. However, this time was different, and it left the authorities that did show up very confused. Our story takes us to Spain in the 1930s. This is the story of the Zaragoza Goblin. I didn't know where to fit this in the script, but I needed to add this somewhere because I spent forever looking at these videos of like a goblin running across in the background. I don't want to generalize, but they're typically South American, I believe, countries where there would just be a goblin running in the background, or a gnome, a pixie. They are so funny. They are the best thing I could probably bring up, I think. I guarantee you, if they had cameras in the 1930s, this would be all over the news. They would fake these videos like crazy, and it would be everywhere. I wanted to bring this up because I just wanted to show some footage of that shit. Oh, and before we get into this, I want to remind everybody, this is a Spanish story. My main sources were Spanish translated articles, so I apologize if either there's mistranslation or I pronounce things wrong. And if you're interested in this type of stuff, subscribe, and yeah, let's jump into it. In Zaragoza, Spain, the Palazon family lived on the second floor of an apartment building sitting on Gascon Gator Street. Their lives were normal, quiet, and peaceful. But on September 27th, 1934, a confusing series of events happened that, to this day, do not make much sense. A disembodied male voice came out of the kitchen stove, screaming, laughing, and taunting the horrified family. At first, the family assumed the voice came from a different room connected to the stove. They were in an apartment building after all, and the chimney had to connect to the other units of the building. However, the neighbors also expressed concern over the sounds they heard, and the rumor of the Palazon's talking stove spread around town. For the most part, it seemed as if they were just on the bad end of a prank, but many people roped in by the rumor believed the stove was haunted by a duende, which translates to elf, goblin, or leprechaun. Duendes are mischievous spirits that love playing pranks on unsuspecting victims. In many stories, goblins target children because they're easy targets. The bottom line is, they believe that a little dude was in the stove talking to them. The town was absolutely fascinated by the stove goblin, and the apartment building became a hotspot for those who wanted a peek at some paranormal fun. And lucky for them, the goblin loved to talk and make noises. The Palazon family didn't exactly know what to do, other than to ask the voice questions and answer whatever it asked back. The goblin took a liking to the family's 16-year-old maid, Pascuala. In fact, she was the one who heard the goblin for the first time while washing dishes. As she was about to leave the kitchen, a voice called out her name from the stove. Then it let out a laugh when she turned around confused, seeing nothing there. Pascuala told the husband, however, he just brushed it off. Later that same day, Pascuala and the wife heard the voice again. In November, the family finally decided to tell the police, and they agreed to search the apartment. The police thoroughly investigated the building, and they couldn't find a thing. Electricians, plumbers, architects, and priests were all called in, and the kitchen floor was lifted, pipes were inspected, and the chimney was inspected, but everything they did led to no body to match the voice. The whole time this was done, the voice was not fazed by the authorities. It called out, "I'm here, cowards." And an officer even tried just asking what it was. "Who are you? Why are you doing this? Do you want money? No. Are you looking for a job? No. Then who are you? What is it you want, man?" "Nothing. I am not a man." They They couldn't just throw cuffs on this guy, or the stove, and call it a day. The architect said there was nowhere anybody could be hiding, and when someone mentioned measuring the chimney, the voice just rang out. "You need not trouble. The diameter is just 6 inches. The investigation did absolutely nothing but make the case spread farther. The voice stopped after the police evacuated the building and guarded the building for 24 hours. After everyone went home, so the police, priests, architects, plumbers, and psychologists went home, the Palazans then returned to their home, the one with the stove goblin. And as if it was some type of cruel joke, as soon as they got home, the voice rang out again and gave them permission to smoke in their own home. The Palazans gave up. How could you blame them? And they left the house for a final time, and a new family moved in. The goblin then targeted the family's 4-year-old son, Arturo. Governor of Zaragoza was fed up with this whole thing. He believed it was nonsense and he wanted it all wrapped up. The judge residing over the case was also stumped. And without ever finding a body to the voice, he said it was due to a psychic phenomenon that only happened on certain occasions. However, the government issued a statement and put all of the blame on Pascuala, believing she was the voice. His belief was that the maid was performing an unconscious ventriloquism. The young maid, who most likely liked having her job, was simply throwing her voice without being aware she was. No matter how you spin it, the explanation makes no sense at all, and she was jailed temporarily. But even if she was the voice, it wasn't illegal. She wasn't punished severely, but she was sent to her hometown, pretty much exiled from Zaragoza. They also conveniently leave out any reasoning for how the voice was there when Pascuala wasn't. She wasn't even in the damn building at the time when the voice was talking to the police, but the governor just wanted the whole thing done and he was annoyed. Take this next part with a grain of salt, because I could only find it on a roughly Spanish to English translated news article, but in December of 1934, the goblin spoke his last words, and this was when he was talking to Arturo. "I am going to kill all the inhabitants of this damn house, cowards." So he must have been pretty pissed off about something, and I have to point this out, this happening after he lost the 16-year-old child he would communicate with is not a good look for whatever it was. And on top of that, he started talking to Arturo, who was also a child. And maybe it's best we don't know the true nature of this, because it's very possible that it was just some weird dude who only did it for a reason I can't state on YouTube. And yeah, that's the whole thing. It's bizarre when you really dig into stories like this that have absolutely no explanation, and even when you try to think of an explanation, it falls flat. It is so difficult to try to formulate why this happened or who was doing it. One of the leading theories was that it was somebody talking through the chimney and it was coming through the stove, possibly somebody stalking Pascuala, and like I said before, pretty creepy, and whoever did that is a sick freak, if that was the case, hypothetically. Unless you believe the maid did it, like the governor, the voice was never properly identified, and the blame was pinned on a probably innocent person. Let me know what you think. Do you think it was an actual paranormal event, or a huge prank that spun out of control, and a prankster got upset that it was all over? Keep in mind, this only happened in a span of 3 months. 3 months! That's nothing. That is nothing. And what the hell's my outro? Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you liked the video, hit the little thumbs up icon. If I missed anything, or you have something to add, comment below and throw whatever you got at me. Thank you for watching. Drive safe, sleep good, enjoy your day at work or whatever else you're doing today. And I hope to see you in the next one.